This is Augustana Sportscene, a weekly update on Viking athletics at South Dakota's largest private college. Enjoy the action and excitement of NCAA Division II athletics at Augustana. Augie Sports Update is brought to you by Schoenemann's.
Tracy Hellman's indoor track and field team turned in a strong performance at the Ted Nelson Classic Saturday in Mankato, Minnesota. Runa Falk broke her own school record in the 3,000-meter run and won the event with a time of 9 minutes 42.01 seconds. Henrik Hansen won the men's mile in a time of 4 minutes 13.35 seconds. That time was also good enough to provisionally qualify him for nationals. A total of 10 Vikings posted first place finishes at the meet. The Vikings are at the Iowa State Classic this Friday and Saturday. The Augustana tennis teams kicked off their spring seasons at Nebraska Wesleyan on Saturday. The women won 9-0, while the men charted an 8-1 victory. The Viking women are at Gustavus on Saturday before hosting Morningside on Sunday. The Viking men return to action on February 25th against Coe College and Buena Vista. The Augustana wrestling team tacked on another NSIC win by beating Southwest Minnesota State 20-15 on Friday. 157-pounder Marcus Edgington and 174-pounder Carl Sirk both recorded wins by major decision to lead the Vikings. Jason Reitmeyer's team also defeated Northern State on Sunday. The Vikings are now 12-2 overall and 4-1 in NSIC competition. Augustana will travel to Upper Iowa on Friday to close out the conference season. The number 25 ranked Augustana women's basketball team had its 10-game winning streak snapped on Friday in Mankato as Minnesota State used overtime to defeat the Vikings. The Vikings rallied from a 15-point deficit to force the extra period, but the Mavericks were too much in the extended game. Molly Hayes exploded for a career-high 33 points on 5 three-pointers. Alex Feeney scored 11 points and grabbed 9 rebounds. Dave Krauth's crew responded with a 71-61 win over Southwest Minnesota State on Saturday. Balanced scoring keyed the Viking win. Alex Feeney netted a game-high 16 points. Molly Hayes had 14, and Emily Schulte and Shantiva Ashley each scored 11. Emily Bowes also recorded a career-high 5 blocks. The Vikings are now 17-4 overall and 14-3 in the NSIC. Augustana hosts Northern State and the University of Mary on Friday and Saturday. The Viking men's basketball squad split its weekend on the road, beating Minnesota State on Friday before falling to Southwest Minnesota State on Saturday. Augustana rallied from 16 down to earn a 70-64 win over MSU. Cody Schilling dropped in a game-high 23 points. Leif Nomelin had 16. Cameron McCaffrey had 14, and Alex Richter scored 11. The Vikings' strong second half included 5 three-pointers and a 50% shooting performance. Southwest Minnesota State closed the game on a 10-3 run to beat Augustana 80-77. The Vikings had a chance to tie it late, but Cody Schilling's three-pointer, as time expired, rimmed out. Dre Murray led Augustana with 19 points. Schilling scored 16, and Yuri Malashenko and Cameron McCaffrey each had 10. The Vikings are 13-8 overall and 10-7 in the NSIC. They host Northern State and the University of Mary this weekend. Don't go anywhere. Men's basketball coach Tom Billiter is next.
Augustana Sportscene is brought to you by Sanford Health, improving the human condition. By Schoenemann's, your trusted building center since 1888. And by Mid-Continent Communications, part of your community.
Cleaning hard water spots takes time and effort. Be sure your water softener is working properly. Your Culligan man can make sure any brand water softener is working by performing a 10-point inspection for only $19.95. That's Culligan. Better water, pure and simple.
Even the highest efficiency dishwasher can't remove spots from your glasses if you have hard water, but a Culligan High Efficiency water softener can. The Culligan High Efficiency saves you up to 46% in operating costs, and it makes your glasses look 100% beautiful.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a big fan of how youth sports can help kids stay physically fit. But as an athlete and a parent, I'm also very concerned about safety. Millions of sports-related concussions happen every year, and many go unrecognized. That's alarming because the wrong treatment can slow recovery, worsen the condition, or lead to permanent damage. Please learn the facts about concussions and help protect our young athletes.
To learn more, visit sanfordhealth.org/headsup.
The Augustana Men's Basketball Report is brought to you by Sanford Health.
Welcome back. I'm Tim Grashewski, Sports Information Director at Augustana College. Filling in again this week for Bill Gross. Joining us is Tom Billiter, head coach of the Augustana men's basketball program. Coach, a very challenging road weekend this weekend at Minnesota State, at Southwest Minnesota State. You guys split. Let's talk a little bit first about the Minnesota State game on Friday. You guys were down 16, but you managed to rally and pick up the win.
We weren't ready to play. It was a weird day. It was a long day, and you know, it just took forever to play. We didn't tip off till after 8:30. You know, and you're hanging out. It's the same for both teams, and that's no excuse, but man, it took forever to get that game started, and we played that way. We came out of the chute like a team that just wasn't even wanting to be there, you know, and you just can't do that. It drives you nuts as a coach, but it happens, and we knew it. We tried to bring them back in during the women's overtime, and you know, then all of a sudden before our game, they're doing it. You know, they're honoring Jefferson Mason, who wasn't even there, and they're doing unveiling band. I mean, it just took forever, you know, and by the time we tipped it off, we looked like a team that would rather have still been watching reruns of MASH than out playing basketball. And we just didn't do a very good job and got down 16. And then, you know, light bulb clicked on. And fortunately, we picked it up a little bit and you know, we cut it down to 11. I thought the last play of the first half, the two-pointer by Yuri Melashenko, sent us in on a positive note. And then the second half, we came out and played like we should. And really took, you know, the lead fairly quickly for being down 11. And then it was a great game. You know, I thought Mankato gave us their best shot. I thought they played as well as they played on film that I've seen all year. And you know, I felt good with the win and to get out of there. Not many times you win, you know, at Mankato. So we were fortunate and happy to get it.
Happy with how you guys responded to the deficit?
Well, yeah, I wasn't happy with the beginning part of it. So yeah, I was better. You know, relieved maybe is a better word. I don't know. You know, for how we finally came back in the second half. But you know, Tim, it's just one of those. You know, Division II for men's basketball's got a lot of parity. And every team on any given night at home, they're hard games. You know, and you see the scores and. You know, some of the teams, Moorhead and St. Cloud, have figured out how to win these close games, and we keep losing them, you know, so they're winning 1 and 2 point games consistently, constantly, you know, and we haven't. So to get the win at Mankato in a close, hard-fought game, I thought was a good step forward for our team, and it was our third win in a row.
Cody Schilling with 23 points, but a guy that's kind of been coming on strong for you is Leif Nolan. He had 16. Yeah,
Leif has played better. I don't want to jinx him. And then Brennan Olson's done a very good job on the boards and goes unnoticed in the box score, but really plays hard. And you know, any game where a Yuri or a Leif or someone comes alive and gets us a little bit more than maybe what you expected, you know, really helps us. Cam, Dre, and Cody are pretty consistent right now. Although Cam did not, you know, 4 for 15 against Mankato, we still won. But then you have Alex Richter, who just continues to get better each week and each game, and he's a real gamer. I love when he's in the game. You know, I just feel like he makes good things happen, and you know, thank goodness. I offered to redshirt him, and thank God he said no. I don't know where we'd be, but at that time, Nick Bennett wasn't injured, and you know, Scotty Norway. You know, we just had kids that weren't injured or what have you, and thank goodness he wanted to play because it's saving us.
Well, you guys entered Saturday against Southwest Minnesota State, knowing it was going to be a tough one. You know, they're playing really well right now. You knew they were going to have a big crowd. It was their Hawaiian night. A tight one here. You guys just couldn't. You know,
it's funny about Augie right now. Every team hates us, it seems like, you know, which is cool. I don't mean that in a bad way, but we're kind of the Duke of Division II, I swear, for fans not liking us. And I think a lot of it has to do with our great home, you know, with our Augieholics and what teams face here. Go back and talk about it because you had said their SID mentioned that's the largest Hawaiian night they've ever had. I mean, it was over 3,000 people. Great, you know, very good atmosphere. It was a great college basketball game. They're very good at home, and they're a very good team. You know, they're very good. They're very athletic. They play hard. You know, and it was just a great game. I thought we played very well. I thought it was two very good college basketball teams playing at the, you know, in a very critical game in the standings for both teams.
You know, you guys, your team was down 3. Just as time expired, Cody Schilling had a shot that could have tied the game. That obviously had to be the guy that you wanted.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I wasn't sure they wouldn't foul. You know, it's a 3-point game. We were fortunate they missed the free throw to go up 4. They missed it. We're up down 3. And in the huddle, I pointed at Dre, Cam, or Cody, and I said, whoever gets the rebound, get it to one of these 3. Because you don't have time to differentiate. You need that guy bringing it. We practice it, to be quite honest. We practice bringing the ball down full court and stopping and popping for a 3 if you need it, or getting to the bucket if it's a 2, whatever the situation. And you know, Miller came on him. He kind of had to take a little hesitation, dribble, go to his left, semi-step back. But to be honest, he got a pretty good look, and it looked like it was going in. You know, I thought that thing was going down, but it just didn't. And they won a hard-fought battle. And, you know, I credit Southwest. They played very well. They really had a great game, and we played well, too.
Dre Murray with 18 points. He's put together.
Yeah, and you know, and he's got a sore, you know, he's got a groin injury that he's nursing, He didn't practice all week, not 1 second. He didn't practice 1 second. Cam didn't practice very much. I mean, I go every week without these guys practicing, and then they play. And so it takes them. I swear that was a little bit to do with the bad first half at Mankato, because these guys just hadn't been out there practicing, and so you got to get kind of used to the speed of the game. I think practice in basketball is about as important as any sport, maybe other than golf out there, where you just have timing and have to play off of each other. And it's unfortunate that we don't have our 2 starting guards practicing all the time.
A couple of teams you guys have already played this year. Let's preview a little bit more in depth in Northern State.
Well, Northern's got in a front line of Pryor and Tetzloff, and they're very balanced. They're a very good basketball team. They've lost a lot of close games. They had Moorhead beat at Moorhead on Friday night and kind of let that one get away. They've been in on every game. They beat Winona. They can beat anybody on a given night. Very talented team. And Mary, they started slow, but look at their scores. Look what they've done lately. Impressive win at Crookston and had Moorhead beat and lost by 1. At Moorhead, they're finding themselves, and they were young and they're getting better. So any given night, anyone. Good Lord, look how Crookston, won by 15 last night at home. Against Northern. It's just a very balanced, very good league this year.
You talk about the league being very balanced. Vikings are in 6th place in the NSIC.
Yeah,
right
I don't
now.
even care. It's 2 games out of 2nd or 3, and 2 games out of disaster.
How do you see the rest of the conference season shaking out?
It's just parity. What hurt us is losing to Moorhead at home and Duluth at home. You can't lose at home. We're splitting on the road. We've had a couple sweet, but we're okay. But you can't lose at home. We need to win these 2 games, and we got to figure out a way to win a couple on the road the next weekend as well.
All right, Vikings at home this weekend against Northern State and the University of Mary. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tim.
The Augustana Women's Basketball Report with Coach Dave Krauth is next.
My eye was a tumor and it hurts in my head, and it's right here. I have 3 favorite colors: red, pink, and purple. I like to draw fairies, princesses, and clothes. I want to be, when I grow up, a clothes modeler. It models clothes. This is my victory.
Why do you play? Why go through all the pain? The endless practices? For the victories? For the joy of playing the game? Or do you play for something even greater? If you already know the answer, we're the network for you. Midco Sportsnet. This is how we do sports.
The Augustana Women's Basketball Report is brought to you by Mid-Continent Communications.
We're talking with Dave Krauth, head coach of the Augustana Women's Basketball Program. Dave, your team splits a pair of games on the road this weekend, falls to Minnesota State on Friday, beats Southwest Minnesota State on Saturday. Let's start with the Friday night game in Mankato. You guys were 15 down, you forced overtime, but you just weren't able to outlast the Mavericks.
Yeah, you often hear, it takes so much energy sometimes to dig yourself out of a hole that we created early in that game, and whether or not that was true, I don't know, but we were. As the game wound down, both in regulation and in overtime, our Faith Tinklenberg was out with, a head injury, and we didn't have Andrea Whitney for the weekend, and we had about everybody on the court with 4 fouls. So it was very much close to, just running out of players. One of those where, we maybe didn't deserve the win, but Molly Hayes kind of put us on her back, and then we really had chances to win the game, particularly in regulation, and couldn't take advantage of it. So it was a tough loss, but it was a loss.
Let's talk a little bit more about Molly. 33 points, just a tremendous effort. Had to be happy with how she played.
Well, and that was 29 in the second half, and it was just, so the first half was, nothing. She got in foul trouble, and we sat her quite a bit, but second half was one of the better halves of basketball I can remember from an individual player, and she had the ball a lot and just made play after play, which when we lost it, we had the last possession of the game and just kind of had a silly turnover, and it was one of those where you just felt, hey, just get her the basketball here, she's at least going to get herself to the line, but it didn't happen.
Well, you guys responded well coming off the overtime loss, kind of in a position you haven't been in a lot this season, coming off a loss. You were down early against Southwest Minnesota State on Saturday, but you guys managed to kind of rally the troops and rally for that win as well.
Yeah, and really, with Molly's exception, we didn't have a lot of kids have good weekends. Just individually, our perimeter kids, other than Molly, did not shoot well at all. We didn't get much done inside with our posts, and we got behind again. I thought in the Southwest game that it was that little flurry at the end of the half, and then that little flurry fairly early in the second half, which maybe was 10 minutes out of the 40, where we kind of got things done, and so the other 30 we were either not as good as them, or it was a kind of a stalemate, and yet we were able to get an important road win.
Balanced scoring, you had 4 players in double figures. It's got to make your job a little easier when everyone's contributing.
A little better that second night with balance. We scored a ton of points than the first night at Mankato, but Molly was so much a part of most of those points. But the second night we did get a little balance. I was also happy. Emily Bowes did not score for us really on the weekend, but she got a lot of minutes, a lot more than she had, and got 5 blocks on Saturday night again, and was 8 for 8 from the free throw line on the first night. So that was a kid that we had to have somebody, that maybe was going to be kind of the unsung hero, and I was happy with her minutes too.
As you said, she had five blocks. All 5 of those came in the first half. So you guys kind of made the inside a dangerous place for the Mustangs to play.
Well, and we picked up a couple fouls, or she did for sure, but I guess Alex Feeney also picked up a couple, or fairly tough calls, and sometimes when you're blocking shots while the ball's still on the shooter's hand, you're asking for that. But I'd like to see her get better. That's a knack that she has, and this team has kind of blocked more shots than I really thought we could too.
A couple of home games this weekend. You guys are going to play Northern State, Mary. Let's preview the Northern State game first.
Well, Northern maybe a little different than most teams in the league. Pretty deliberate. They've got a couple outstanding players, the Becken kid, and then Brando, who missed part of last year with a knee injury, but has come back strong. And then they just run set after set after set after set, and they get very good at it, and it's tough to scout them all. So I think a lot of teams try to speed them up a little bit or whatever. That's easier said than done. And so we'll just have to, I think, be solid against them, and we try to get it up and down a little bit, and maybe try to create a little offense with defense, and see what happens.
Second meeting against Northern State this season. It's also going to be you guys' second meeting against the University of Mary. What can we see out of the Marauders?
Well, they're a very good team, really one of the most talented teams in the league, and they kind of sit up there and I think stay under the radar a lot, but they can score a ton. It's really a junior-dominated team, so you're going to see them again next year being right up there at the top. We play about as well as we could play, I suppose, the first time around, and I'm sure, were very disappointed in theirs performance. So, that's bulletin board fodder. That's the revenge factor, and I know they will talk about it. So it'll be a big game in a lot of ways.
All right, the Vikings will host Northern State and the University of Mary this Friday and Saturday. Dave, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Tim.
Up next, Augie Sports Focus. Stay with us.
I was half the person I used to be, literally. I knew that if I didn't have the strength that I'd back in my body, I'd never be able to ride my Harley again, and that was one of my other goals I had, was to be able to get back on the bike. Just being able to get out and experience, the area and the surroundings on the back of a bike is so much different than being in a car. You can smell the smells as you drive through, you can hear the sounds. It's just great. This is my victory.
When I was young, I loved helping my grandfather with projects. From building a birdhouse to odd jobs around the house, we always got our supplies from Schoenemann's. I remember the smell of the fresh cut lumber and all the bins full of nails, nuts, and bolts. Today, my projects are a bit bigger, and so is Schoenemann's selection. I rely on them for everything I need.
Schoenemann's in Sioux Falls and Harrisburg. Expert advice, everything you need.
You can always do it right with Schoenemann's.
Augie Sports Focus is brought to you by Schoenemann's.
Joining me now is Augustana head softball coach Greta Melstead. Greta, it's February and we're getting ready for softball season here coming up. And the Vikings have been hard at it here through the winter months. And of course with the fall season. But before we get to all of that, let's back up to last year. Tremendous year for the Vikings. Coach Melstead now in her 6th season, but last year was a special one. Talk about that.
Oh, last year was just an absolutely fantastic season. We were 50-11, just superb. Won the conference for the 2nd year in a row, won the conference tournament championship, won the regional tournament, and then on to the super regional. And we played really well in the super regional and got about as close as you could to the national tournament, but had just an absolutely phenomenal year.
Yeah, it was a tremendous season and a lot of great players back for the Vikings, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Then in the fall, the ladies get going and kind of do some practices and some tournament play. And what are you doing right now in the winter months?
We are getting ready for the Desert Stinger here, which comes up in about a week or so. And we're just getting the team ready, and we are ready. We're excited to get going and doing a lot of hitting and a lot of fielding in the Element Center and just kind of polishing up everything. And it's actually really nice to have an older team. This is one of the first years I've actually had an older team, and they know the routine and they're ready to go. We have 5 seniors, so like I said, an older team and just ready to get going.
Well, we've gone to the Desert Stinger now. Is this the 3rd year?
This is our 3rd year.
And talk a little bit about how this works, why we go out there, who we play, and all of that.
Yeah, the Desert Stinger tournament was something that University of Montana Billings came up with, and it was a chance to give teams an opportunity to play regional competition. And so you just go out to Vegas, and it's actually the biggest Division II tournament out there. And you get 5 guaranteed regional games, and we've been lucky. We've had a lot of success out there. We've gone 5-0 each year, and last year we won the tournament. And we're looking forward to doing the same thing this year.
Well, that's a great venue to go to, get out of the cold for the young ladies and the coach. And the Vikings have done very well. Well, the season kind of gets rolling after that. But let's talk about your team, Greta. You got a great ball club coming back.
We really do have a great team, and we're just really excited for this year. I know with last year's success, you look at this season and wonder, how we're going to do this year. On paper, we're better than last year. We lost 2 seniors, and we lost Tracy Franzen, who was an All-American for us, so that's a tough one to replace. But we really have a lot of good recruits, a lot of good freshmen. We have a redshirt freshman, Janelle Troutman, who's going to be helping on the mound, and we're very, very, very deep this year and really strong.
Well, that's wonderful. And seniors on the team?
We have 5 seniors, and this is a senior class that's really helped get Augie softball back to where it should be, which is on the national level. They're just a fantastic group, led with Ashley Meyer in the circle, and Ashley's had a very good career here after spending 1 year at Iowa Lakes. And Whit Murray has just also had a fantastic career, and a lot of those players have been all conference or all region. It's just a really good group of seniors who have definitely made their impact on Augie softball.
Well, the Vikings, after the Desert Stinger, go off and continue competition. Talk a little bit more about the schedule.
It's kind of an interesting schedule this year because we decided to play a little bit more in some of the domes, and so we're going to go to St. Cloud and play in their dome tournament, and we did that last year. But besides that, we're gonna play Winona in a dome. We're also going to play Duluth in a dome, and those are going to be really good matchups for us early on, so that we can kind of see what our conference opponents are going to look like and see what we need to be ready for down the line, because those are 2 teams that should be at the top of the conference by the end of the year.
Okay, in addition to UMD and Winona, who do you see in the region that we're in that should be very strong?
Mankato again. Mankato beat us out last year for the national to go to nationals. They are pretty much returning a lot of their team, so they will be good. Other teams in the region, you have some of the Colorado schools. They're kind of we don't know a ton about them, but I would think that Metro would be showing up again and possibly Regis.
Okay, well, it'll be interesting as it always is, and we need that weather to cooperate for us to have a great spring. Greta, it's your 6th season as a softball coach at Augustana. You started out rebuilding. It's become a great program. Your thoughts on working and coaching at the college?
For me, Augustana is a dream job because it aligns with my values. I love the private school. I love the Lutheran heritage. I'm a pastor's kid. It's just has great academics, and And for me, I can recruit the type of kids that I want to work with. It's kids that are great students and great people, and it just makes my job so much fun on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we can win here.
Yeah, well, we sure can. You've proven that, and you do a fabulous job with your staff here, Greta, and we appreciate everything you do. So good luck to you and the Vikings.
Thank you.
The Augustana Sports Calendar is next. We'll be right back.
How do you hold a moment? Keep friends and family close. Witness the passage of time. Replay the glory days. Relive magical nights. Create memories to share. How do you capture a lifetime? One picture at a time. Life Touch. Photography for a lifetime.
The all-new midsize 2012 Passat with dual-zone automatic climate control, Bluetooth, and scheduled carefree maintenance included. The Passat has more premium standard features than its competitors. That's the power of German engineering.
There's just times that there's a lot of darkness. I would be in church looking at the PowerPoint and just thinking, this could be my funeral, this could be my pictures up there. The day came when I could actually stand in front of our congregational family and I could sing a solo, and that was so huge because I had forgotten how beautiful a song could be in my heart.
My word is celebrate.
The Augustana Sports Calendar is brought to you by Sanford Health.
Let's take a look at the Augustana Sports Calendar for this week. Friday, February 10th, wrestling is on the road for a very tough match at Upper Iowa University in Fayette, Iowa. Indoor track travels to the Iowa State University Classic in Ames. Softball, big road trip out to Las Vegas for the Desert Stinger Classic. And basketball is home in-state rivalry with Northern State at the Elman Center. The women tip off at 6, followed by the men at 8. Saturday, February 11th, indoor track continues competition at the Iowa State Classic. Softball continues to compete at the Desert Stinger in Las Vegas. Women's tennis is at Gustavus in St. Peter, Minnesota. And basketball is back home again at the Elman Center as the Vikings take on the University of Mary. The women's game starts at 4, followed by the men's game at 6. And remember, for radio coverage of Augustana basketball, you can hear the men on KIKN FM 100.5 and worldwide at KIKN.com. And Augustana women's basketball may be heard on KXRB AM 1000 and worldwide at KXRB.com. And for complete information on Augustana athletics, go to our website, goaugie.com. That's it for this week's show. This is Bill Gross thanking you for watching, and I hope you'll join me again at this same time next week for another edition of Augustana Sportscene. Have a great week, everybody.
You've been watching Augustana Sportscene, a weekly update on NCAA Division II athletics at South Dakota's largest private college. Learn more about Augustana College in Sioux Falls at augie.edu.